Oh my gosh. Dude. I can't stop laughing. Oh my god, I've got a big ass smile on my face. Oh, this team, man. Oh, on a real note, sorry, I do have a bit of a cough right now, so forgive me if I have a coughing fit throughout this stream. Bro, this is the best. This is the best comedy on television. Honestly, it is so funny. It is so funny to watch this team play now. I genuinely think it is that funny right now. Oh my gosh, I cannot help but laugh so hard now. Holy cow. Hang on. There we go. Alright, hang on. Hey everyone. Should have kicked the field goal. Should have taken the points. Oh my gosh. If Getsy knows this franchise at all, he would have known that anytime we're aggressive like that, it doesn't work out. It is just hilarious. And the funniest thing about this game to me is that the team didn't even look like that bad. They just collapsed. They looked good for 3 quarters. Like, I don't get it. Like, there was part of me when Denver scored that second touchdown, I'm like, hey, could happen, but, like, it's not going to. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, they got plenty of time on, but I'm like, they played so well, they'll be fine. Yeah. Bro, no, we're not the only winless team in the NFL now. Panthers lost in the other 0-3 matchup against the Vikings, so it's us and the Panthers racing to who has the first, or to who wins their first game. Not even an FC. It's funny. We have the top 2 picks in the draft. Wow. This is amazing. I'm so happy right now. I get the top 2 picks in the draft. Yeah, no. I mean, like, it's just... Bro, I was saying this to myself after the game. If we can't... So, hang on. Let me just see. Is the Washington game over yet? Is the game between the Eagles and the... Let me actually watch that right now. I've got it. Hang on. Let me see. Is that actually... Oh, Eagles up by 7. Minute half. Washington with the ball. Oh, and Sam Howell just took a sack. That is a big point, though. A sack? What is that? A sack? What is that? Yeah, no, we can't get a sack. I think there's a lot of things that the defense really can work on, because I feel like the choke job is more on the defense. Of course, Justin had the fumble. I'm not trying to be that guy that's just like excusing Justin. Of course, shouldn't have had the fumble, but it's also just like shouldn't, I think that play was blown up from the start because they had 2 guys uncovered by the offensive line, if I remember correctly. So it's like, it's just brutal. I think he tried to throw it and he just lost it. It's just brutal. And of course, the pick. Of course. Like, all I can say is just, of course. Of course he throws an interception. Of course, on the final drive. Takes me back to 2015, 2016, when Jay Cutler did the exact same thing on like every single drive in that same scenario. Down 3, down 4, down 7, down whatever. Down 1 score, trying to tie the game. throws a pick. I was like, look, Justin, if you want to, save your career here, you got to have a good drive. And he did and he did, and then he threw the pick, and it's just like, well, all of it's lost. Best game of his career. Breaks the consecutive pass completions record for the Bears franchise, which 16 in a row in the first half. Went 16 of 16 and then threw his first incompletion on a Hail Mary in the second half. And then, throws a couple more incompletion. He did not have a bad game. Threw 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Yeah, he has the pick at the end of the game, but, what does he need to do to avoid getting in that situation outside of the fumble? Because I know, obviously, if I bring up those types of questions, it's like, oh, well, he shouldn't fumble the ball. Yeah, obviously. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But, there's a couple incompletions he could have completed. He looked good passing the ball. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He looked confident when throwing the ball. I liked what I saw. It's just so hard to keep looking at the positives when you lose the game. It's so hard, and it's so easy now, even though he threw for 300 yards, to get rid of the 4 touchdown passes and just look at the 1 pick and the 1 fumble. It's really hard. It's really hard to look at it that way. And that's what and I think that's the hardest part about this game. Throwing to the middle in crunch time I don't know. It was a 3rd down. He's got to get it out. I think that was the first throw that he forced in the game. I think that was the first throw he truly forced. And he didn't need to throw. Obviously, you're trying to throw to the sideline, but it's you have 30 seconds. You can get up there and spike it. It's like a throw over the middle doesn't end the game. Obviously, it's not optimal, but it's it's not the end of the world. And I'd love to look at that play from the All-22 or some other plays like that and see if that was the only avenue he had, or if he had something on the sideline. Because sometimes the All-22 provides a lot more context. Last week, I saw some All-22 footage of several deep throws and several throws that Justin Fields was going to have against Kansas City, but they only sent 2 receivers deep, and Kansas City had 4 safeties and corners covering 2 guys, and no one was open. So it's hard sometimes. So it's just, we only see the throw and then the pick. We don't see the other 2 routes, the other 3 routes, the other route or whatever. So that's kind of one thing I'd like to see for that play specifically. Oh my God! Oh, hang on! Oh, hang on! Hold up, guys! Before I get back into this, Washington's down 7, 5 seconds left, 1st and goal right now.
Second charge, timeout.
They probably have 1 play to get in the end zone, and I'm watching this mainly because we're playing Washington next week.
Goes down the field, scores a touchdown.
So forgive me for a second.
Just had an opportunity if they wanted to there to kind of grind the clock and
give me
play
a
for a last
second
second field.
Okay, never mind. We're gonna go say hi to the booth.
Good.
Which, love Joe Davis, but want to see the play. Passing was tremendous, but they run the same play over and over again. I didn't kind of pick up on that. There was he looked good throwing the ball deep. I didn't see a bunch of passing plays run over and over again. I'm pretty sure that the Broncos defense was able to figure it out because the scheme wasn't terribly complicated, so they had only they probably were starting to run the plays over again in the 4th quarter. That probably would be why, but I'll get onto that in a minute. Here comes the play for Washington.
Right in front of De'Ami Brown because they got one-on-one to the single receiver into the boundary. So
so they're from the 10.
Running back that you've
Oh boy.
Put your formation to the field.
The lone receiver is the big Logan Thomas. Here's the game. Howell over the middle and
incomplete. Oh, there's still 1 second. Oh, they still have 1 play. I think that's the right idea. You got to throw it, and you got to throw that there. If it's incomplete, you get another play. No, not passing plays. The run. Oh, the run plays. Oh, Oh, I read that wrong. Passing was tremendous, but they run the same run play over and over again. Okay, no, I see what you're saying now. No, I get it. They were running a lot of the same run plays. But it's like, why stop when Herbert was running as effective as he was at the end of the game? But also, he didn't have it at the very end there. I don't know. Anyways, here's the final play of the game. 2 seconds left.
Howell, one last chance. End zone, touchdown! On their last breath, it's Jahan Dotson.
Oh, no! Washington scores, dude! Oh, no! Oh, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, former Bear.
Great throw by Sam Howell.
You can take... Oh, God, is he going to go for 2? Oh, I'd love to see him go for 2 here. Or are they going for... I don't know. Oh, baby. Washington's surprising me this year, honestly. They're going for the extra point to go for overtime. You got to hit it.
Good snap, good hold.
Yep, we got it. All right, overtime in Philly.
The Commanders go 6.
Commanders tie the game on the last play of regulation, bro. That is wild.
Again with good field position.
So, yeah, that happened, bro. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off so you guys don't have to hear that. But, so, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and ask me. Let's give my thoughts. I don't know. I can pull up the stats here. I mean, dude, it's so frustrating because the offense looked so good. Like, the offense was was a fundamental problem the first 3 weeks of the year, I think. But this game, I really don't think there was much. There was a couple things left to be desired. Of course, the 2 turnovers and then going for it on 4th down. It's like there's 3 plays in this game that takes the offensive performance to great to how. Coach is going to get. Oh yeah, that, and I don't know if and so that is interesting to me. Coach is going to get a lot of heat from not calling the field goal. I don't know who made the call. I don't know if it was Eberflus or Getsy who said, stay on the field and try and sneak it. But as I was hearing on the broadcast too, they liked what they were doing the first time they were going to go for it. Yeah, they went for it twice, which is dumb enough. Throw the ball on 4th. You think they throw it? I that's an interesting call. I don't know if I think if they had I think if they were confident in a really easy dink, like little dink pass play, that could have worked. Obviously, I'm not saying they should have just snapped it and then thrown for the end zone. I mean, obviously, if something opens up, you go for it. But I mean, it worked all day. You are right. It worked all day. But on the broadcast, they did. Yeah, exactly. The QB sneak would have been a better 4th down play than that run play that they did. They called the timeout, but like the broadcaster, I forget who it was. It was either Tiki Barber or Matt Ryan. I couldn't remember who said it, but they liked the lane that Fields would have had if he got right up under center, took the snap, and just tried to just brute force his way for a 1st down. I think they would have got it. Instead, they called a timeout, which I'm like, okay, they probably would have been able to just kick the field goal. It's like, okay, they're going to try and hard count him. Fair enough. You don't see that too often anymore, but, Broncos had a bunch of penalties. Not a bad idea. But, man, that second play call, I will never understand on, 4th and 1s and, 4th and goal from the 1. I really will never understand why you try and do a traditional run-up-the-middle play where you hand the ball off to the running back 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I will never understand that. That, to me, is one of the worst things that you can do in football. It's just, it never works. It never works, especially for us. So I think it was a combination of not going it for it the first time and then going for it and then calling a brain-dead play. QB sneak, yep. If he couldn't have got off the pass, he definitely could have ran. That is true. He could have caught it, could have worked his magic. Sneaker pass, let Justin make it happen. Should have been him. I agree. Super readable. Super readable. Run up the middle. Super readable. I agree. So, definitely agree on that part. Let me pull up the stats for this. I don't know if I'm calling for Poles' head yet, but Eberflus is done, bro. Eberflus is done. He is not good. You thought it was going to be play action? I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, maybe that's what they were trying to get them to fall for that, but I don't know. No, it's just funny at this point. I mean, Poles he's only been here for, a year? He had one off season, and I think he didn't do a terrible job. He did a couple good moves. I think the only truly deplorable move he had was signing Chase Claypool, and they made a right decision of sitting him. And obviously, it helped because of him not being an absolute cancer on the field and off the field. I hated the signing the day that they got him. I was like, okay, maybe, he can do something, but bro. Chase Claypool is an absolute clown. He is an absolute clown. Dude has major character issues. Character issues is, and it's character issues. That's the big thing, but it's also dude, you're not producing anything. You're not helping the team. You're being an absolute poop. You're being a terrible guy. You're not being cooperative. You're not being a team player. You're thinking all about yourself. It's terrible. And then, of course, he has the balls to say, I'm not being utilized properly. Where when Justin Fields called out the coaching staff, he kind of said it yeah, I'm playing too robotic. It was kind of a shot at the play calling and the coaches, but also saying that it was on him as well in a way with that statement, which he was right. He was right with that. And he definitely fixed it. He looked much more comfortable in the pocket today. Swear to God, Chase Claypool, we need to trade him. I don't care that it's going to be an absolute net loss for us. He needs to go. Dude is an absolute locker room cancer. And I will say that I really have appreciated how this team has avoided having big locker room cancers pretty much since I started following. I don't really remember very many of these type of just locker room cancers. Once I saw Claypool, I'm like, bro, we seriously signed TikTok boy too. Nah, it was tough. Tough break. He needs to go, and frankly, because he wasn't playing, I was like, dude, this is hilarious. Claypool is literally going to be a part of every single loss of this franchise record-breaking losing streak, and he's going to leave or get benched, and we're going to finally win a game. Honestly, there's part of me that thinks literally trading Chase Claypool would literally help us win a game. I genuinely think him leaving the organization would be a net positive. Mooney and Moore, yeah. No, and I heard Mooney was playing on a hurt ankle last week in Kansas City. So seeing him kind of get back into the swing of things is good. And, man, Kmet had another great day. Kmet has been a great safety option for Justin, especially when he, just feels like he needs a safety option. And he kind of peels off the block and comes up in the middle. I think he's been great with that. I really like him. I've always liked Kmet. I know some people were not very happy when we signed him to the deal that we did. I thought it was warranted. It's different. It's I think he's much more of an actual pass catching tight end than what feels like Tunyon or Lewis are doing right now. Of course, they both got some action in this game, but it's certain people they have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. St. Brown had that one catch that he juggled and really should have not even juggled in the first place. Great catch to keep track of the ball and hang on to it, but I know a lot of people were upset why we re-signed him. The reason why we're re-signing him is because they liked him as a blocker. And that's a fair assessment. Obviously, it doesn't help in the long run too much because it kind of takes the place of a receiver spot, but, you guys did a good job. You almost had us. Good luck. Thank you, Jarrell. Appreciate that, my friend. Just a tough game, man. I mean, I'm living in Colorado right now. You can see my flag right here. Know a lot of Broncos fans. And I'm trying to get in the sports media, so I know quite a few people who are covering the Broncos and how much they have just ripped into this team. I'm very interested. And that's why I'm kind of like, this week's going to be hell. Because I live around here, a lot of people know especially my friends know that I am a Bears fan, so it's just, it's going to be funny. It's going to be fun. It's whatever. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, you guys have gone through. You went through it last season. Like we've gone through it. Yeah, no, and it's like, we can turn to other sports here in Chicago. Really, we can't because Cubs got eliminated yesterday. It's a tough way to end the year for the Cubbies, but it's like they weren't even supposed to be in that position in the first place. So I'm really looking forward to what they've got next season. And so it's just. I'm not too upset about them. Bedard looked great in his first preseason game. So, he looks great. The Hawks are still going to stink, though. White Sox we're not going to talk about because the White Sox are they're arguably a bigger dumpster fire than the Bears are, which I honestly don't know how you can become more of a dumpster fire in the same city as the Bears. And then the Bulls, they're struggling right now. Gosh, that's tough. They were in the talks with two big guys with Lillard and I think they were in a little talks with Holiday and I think they just announced that he got traded to who was it? Celtics. Tough, bro. Us Chicago fans got it tough right now. But gosh. I really am trying to find a bunch of positives in this game. I'm really trying to stay optimistic because I know everyone is, being really down in the dumps with it. And I can't help but laugh sometimes, dude. I really can't. It's just frustrating. But it's not like this game was just straight, frustration. I think this game was different than the game against Tampa, where it's Tampa, they just kind of stunk and they weren't going to win that game. And I really didn't think they could have had a chance to win that game. But, it's just seems like every time they're down by one score and Fields gets the ball, something different happens every time, and they find a way to turn the ball over. It's just amazing. Like with Tampa, they ran the exact same screen pass 3 times in a row, which of course is of course it's going to get picked off. If you ran the same exact play 3 times in a row at your own 5-yard line, of course they're going to read it. Kansas City was just bad. And I that to me was interesting. If you watched my video, it kind of almost felt like I didn't expect it a little bit. I was more upset with how the organization had all that stuff happen throughout the week rather than the actual game. Because the game was exactly how it went exactly how I had expected. And so, I didn't take anything away from that game. And I said in that video, I wanted to see what Justin did today against the Broncos. And if he couldn't perform against a Broncos team that had just let up 70 points, then he's probably lost. But he showed signs again, and he did not really. And it's last year all the signs were on the ground. Today he showed signs of promise in the passing game. And this is the type of game that you need to have as a quarterback. If you're struggling, you need to have a game, or even if it is against a defense that really struggles, anything successful like he did, 300 yards, first 300-yard game in his career, 16 straight completions, 4 touchdowns. That's exactly what he needed. Of course, it comes to bite him in the end because he can't finish. Has a great first 3 quarters. He has that fumble, throws that pick, and it's just brutal. And I genuinely feel like Justin at this point is just like deflated. I remember, hang on, Khalil was clutch. Yeah, he really was. Like, he kind of turned it on in the second half. I really liked what Khalil Herbert did. He just had that like really angry run that just kind of went for like probably about another like 5-10 yards after he first contact. There's no one game on the schedule we can win this season. Probably. And it's like, look, there are a lot of things. A lot of people will say that this is just an all negative game. This is not an all negative game. Yeah, Washington's in overtime right now against Philly. It looks like next score wins, so I don't know, how that's gone. I've just kind of been on here. Don't need to listen to it really. It looks, I think Philly's got the ball. Yeah, so looks like they're gonna win this game. And so, it's like we're gonna be going up against a 2-2 squad. Sam Howell has had his struggles, but he's also looked pretty good through. Hang on. He's looked fine, right? So it's obviously it's a Thursday night game, so it just throws everything out the window, and it throws everything into the fire. It's super confusing and complicated, and it kind of doesn't make any sense, right? And so, Thursday night games can get, really interesting. So I think that's probably going to be an advantage. But they really have. I think there's a lot of great things in this game that Justin Fields is able to do, and the connection with Moore, connection with Mooney, got Kmet involved. I think if those 4 players, Fields, Mooney, Moore, Kmet, can stay tight knit, and the passing game can stay like that, and then every now and then you gotta throw, you gotta get. I mean, of course, you get Herbert into the mix, then Roshan Johnson into the mix. Of course, then you have Tunyon and Lewis as that. And Lewis is mainly a veteran presence, so he got his first catch today. Maybe St. Brown has a good route, or something. If you're able, and he looked more decisive in the pocket. I think that's the big thing. He looked more decisive and comfortable. He looked more. He was throwing the ball. He wasn't just holding on to it for too long. There probably was maybe 1 or 2, instances of that. But yeah, okay, hang on. I'm backed up here, kind of going off on some tangents here. If there's one game that we can win on the schedule, so I started talking about Washington. Obviously, there is a chance. We get the Vikings at home, which I don't think will be favored at all. But the Vikings have struggled a ton this year, especially defensively. I mean, Jefferson and Cousins have looked unbelievable, but their defense has been the struggling point, which, makes me feel like Justin can, Fields can probably take advantage of that. And after that, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like there's a chance, because Aiden O'Connell's starting today for the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo's out. If O'Connell, doesn't look great through these next 3 weeks, they're playing the Chargers right now. Next week they've got Green Bay on Monday night. Then they play the Patriots at home. If he travels to Soldier Field and can't really do much, I feel like we can get a win there. Of course, we're going to lose to the Chargers. That's going to stink that's on Sunday Night Football. That's going to really stink. We could be 0-7 and playing on Sunday Night Football. Oh, my God, that's ridiculous. If we are 0-7, they'll take us off. I can tell you with a high degree of certainty, but I'm looking at the games here. Let's see. If Washington keeps this up, and, keeps things the way that it's going, they could probably have that one. Cincinnati, San Francisco, but that's probably going to be protected by a network. I don't know. That's a week that's going to be pretty difficult. Anyways, Eagles just finished the win. So they won 31-34 in overtime. They kicked the field goal to win. Then after the Chargers, they're going to go to the Bayou, play the Saints, and then they play the Panthers at home. I feel like that could be the most winnable game left on the year. That and the game against the Raiders, I think those two games will be winnable for sure. Detroit on the road is a loss. Minnesota on the road is probably a loss. Then they get their bye. Then they're at home against Detroit. That'll be a loss. Road against Cleveland will probably be a loss. Home against the Cardinals, they could win. Home against the Falcons, if the Falcons keep playing the way that they've played the last 2 weeks, they could win that game. If they played what they played the first 2 weeks, they will probably lose that game. And of course, if they can't find ways to fix, they will lose to Green Bay again. So I feel like if they win every single winnable game for the rest of the year, which I will throw in Minnesota for the time being, this first one at home. So that means they win their next 3, and then they beat the Cardinals, Panthers, and Falcons. That's 6 wins. Other than that, I don't really think they have a shot winning most other games. Maybe they find a way to beat the Saints. Maybe they find a way to beat the Lions one of those 2 times. Or they beat the Vikings on Monday Night Football. But there is I think the ceiling, if they win every winnable game for the rest of the year, it's probably 6 wins. So it's just brutal. So that's kind of a bit of a long answer to your question, Crisis. I remember 4 years ago when you guys came to Denver. It was the second week. Turned off my TV when we scored a touchdown. Thought the game was over. Turned it back on. We lost. Yeah, that game I remember being extremely stressed out about because, that was my senior year of high school. I'm a senior in college now. And that was coming off the 12-4 season. That was coming off the double doink. We had just lost to Green Bay the previous week. And, of course, everyone through week 2, they put up the graphics that say how you start 0-2, you're pretty much got a really low chance of making the playoffs. So I was like, we need to win this game because of that reason. Don't go 0-2. God, I was ecstatic when Eddie Pinheiro hit that 53-yarder. Oh, my gosh. That was unbelievable. Crazy game. And that, to me, was... Oh, man. It makes me kind of miss the Trubisky-Robinson connection. It's my jersey, by the way. It's not a Velus Jones jersey. I got a comment in my last video saying it's a Velus Jones jersey, which is hilarious. But, man, I know Robinson was such a poop, but, dude, if he was able to hold through and get to the next season, I think we win another game, maybe another. Obviously, that means we don't get the first pick and whatnot. But it's like, if he was here now, we have more Robinson, Mooney, Kmet. It's great for Fields. But from what it sounded like, Robinson and Fields didn't build a great connection, so, whatever. I miss A-Rob so much. Well, it's funny because he was like my favorite player when he was in Jacksonville too. I don't know why. And I was actually planning on getting his jersey right before the championship game in 2017. When I figured out he was going to be a free agent, I think it was maybe that offseason when he was a free agent. I'm like, hang on, wait to see what team he goes to. Maybe he comes to the Bears, and he did. I'm like, yeah, this is it. So that's why I still have this jersey. I'm still going to wear it. One, because I don't need to get a new jersey, because I really don't need to or want to. But yeah, dude, that, and then just how Pinheiro fell off there. It's also crazy to think about it with him and Santos here. Because remember, Santos came in the 2020 season. Pinheiro was injured, and Santos had to step in. And Santos stole Eddie Pinheiro's job. And then Pinheiro obviously jumped around, and he's been struggling. And Santos has been solid as a kicker. since he's come with the team. It's his 4th year at the team now, so that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know. Number 1 and number 2 pick season. I mean, dude, I already went through a full season of cheering for tanking and basically wanting them to play well but lose. I've been doing it for a year. I just want to see him win a game. At some point, it's like I understand the whole point of tanking and wanting to be the number, but it's like, what about this organization says that Caleb Williams or whoever we get maybe Drake May, whoever is going to change things? I saw Caleb Williams yesterday when my school played USC. I saw him yesterday. I saw him throw 6 touchdowns. What about this organization and this staff says that anything that happened with Trubisky or Fields is not going to happen with Williams? That, to me, is the caution about drafting a new quarterback. And that's why I'm a little nervous with that. Because at this point, I don't know if it's like all on the quarterbacks. Of course, the quarterbacks, it's like they got to, there's certain things, but it's like at some point, is it more about the organization or is it all about the players? And I am being led to be convinced that is an organizational issue. Now, about the Bagent conversation with Tyson Bagent. I personally feel like Fields played well enough today to not make me feel like Bagent needs to play real soon. If we keep losing, we get to like Vegas, and we're winless, I think Bagent maybe needs a shot. If Fields can't get to a win through Vegas, I think Bagent may need to. I think he might get a start against the Chargers. But I truly think that Eberflus, if he loses against Washington, I truly feel like he should be out. I feel like he should be fired if we lose to Washington. Getsy redeemed himself quite a bit today. There were a couple play calls that I was like, yep, I really like this. And I feel like overall something must have happened where they were kind of communicating and it felt like they understood what was going on and understood where they were and were going to take some more shots. And I like that. Now, as it goes for, just for the rest of the year, can they keep up this production? Can they keep Justin throwing the football at an effective rate like he did today? Because obviously not every defense is going to be Denver's defense. So can they keep his passing game and passing performance up like he did today? I would love to see that. Because you know what? 300 yards and 4 touchdowns is a good day. I don't care that he had a fumble and threw a pick. It's a good day for Justin Fields. Had a great day. Would you like to not see him turn the ball over? Yes. I would. You know what also I would like? Not to go for it on 4th down. I would also like the defense not to crumble against Russell Wilson on the offense after playing well for 2.5 quarters. So it's just, well, people will blame Fields. Some people will blame him. There's other things I'm like, shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. 1, 2, shouldn't have called to go for it on 4th down. Should have kicked the field goal and taken the points. But man, dude, it's just a comedy show. It really is. This franchise is one of the funniest organizations to follow in the league. It's amazing. It's amazing how bad that team is. Yeah, if you got any more questions, let me know. This is mainly just kind of immediately after the game, kind of just let's talk kind of a moment where there will be a traditional reaction this week. I know the last time I did one of these was against Green Bay last year, And I was kind of just saying stuff in my head. I was like, I'm just going to make it a reaction. I didn't want to kind of go through that. I will kind of make it more of a traditional reaction this week. I think I should. It's probably a good idea for me to do. So I'll probably do it. But dude, it's just, oh boy. I'll probably make it a little shorter. I like to I try to keep the reactions as short as I can. But damn, I really do have a lot of stuff that just goes through my head sometimes after these games, and they just end up being long. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably try to make it short. Maybe put a link at the end of the video to this stream to kind of get some more in-depth, more responsive with you guys. Because this is nice. I do kind of like jumping in here and, answering some of the questions you guys got, kind of having some dialogue. That is kind of nice after some of these games. God, man, I try to be an optimist. I really do try to be an optimist in these situations. Just with, this team in general. But I have been proven time and time and time and time and time again that I shouldn't have hope for this team because they can't seem to do anything productive. So, man, it's just so hard to watch. But it's like, I love watching it. It wouldn't be a Sunday without watching Bears football. As much as it stinks, as much of it's a pain, and as much of I would rather be focusing on the things that I need to. I would rather be focusing on the things at school that I would love to do, like contributing to my sports media club and covering stuff on the weekends. But man, I don't know what it is, but I keep running back to the dumpster fire. I keep running back to the misery. I really can't explain it. I really don't know how to explain the feeling. I really don't know. Maybe it's this channel that there's some obligation that I need to talk about the games that keeps me watching. But I don't know. If there are no final comments, final words, I think I'm going to get out of here, rest my voice, and I don't know, do anything else with my Sunday. So, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like on this. Maybe leave a comment in the stream saying that this form of content is nice. I might put up a community poll once again to kind of get a gauge on what you guys feel about these live streams. If you want to see some of that stuff, maybe, one of these days I sit here on a Sunday night doing, watching the Sunday night game. Maybe if, the Bears are playing the Chargers, maybe I, have sit here and watch the game with you guys. Maybe, I don't know. But I'll send out a community post, see what you guys think. Anyways, if you liked it, please like the stream. Like it, do all that stuff, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Oh, this team is an absolute dumpster fire, and I can't help but laugh. Bye, guys.